Hi everyone, we are Shell, and we are going to be talking about Shell's business models and strategies. To start off, I'm going to talk about the pattern of past strategies. So, Shell's strategy pattern of the past was marked by no structure, no strategic direction, and extreme complexity. Shell faced an era of major challenges. As a company, Shell got greedy and were operating as individual businesses, and each wanted to grow and expand with no strategy or accountability. While Shell moved into new growth areas such as China and Russia and developed projects of increasing complexity and in harsher environments, it also faced increased external criticism. Environmental concerns were raised in relation to Shell's disposable processes, as well as over Shell's presence and activities in Nigeria. This was a result of growth and expansion without any strategy formulation, strategic direction and strategic leadership. The melting point was the 2004 overstatement of oil reserves. Shell had to pay $450 million in lawsuits to shareholders and received a $17 million fine. Above all, it suffered a major loss in confidence and trust both internally and externally. It was time for a clean slate and a new strategic management process.
As mentioned before, the 2004 crisis led to a complete revamp of strategies and structure. In 2005, Shell Group underwent a major structural reorganization as old partnerships were dissolved and Shell unified its corporate structure under a single new holding company. The goals were clear: direct leadership and unified strategies. Shell created a simpler company, one that delivers higher, more predictable returns and growing free cash flow per share. By investing in compelling projects, driving down cost, and selling non-core businesses, Shell reshaped into a more resilient and focused company. Its business strategy was refreshed in 2016 by adding significantly to its portfolio in liquefied natural gas as well as deep water oil and gas production in Brazil. As part of the strategy, a new energies business was created to continue to explore investment opportunities in other areas. The restructuring and Shell's regained success in the industry allowed them to shift their focus to building strategies for the future. The corporate strategy highlights the fact that the world's energy system is changing, and Shell is committed to adapting to these changes. Business strategies have been updated, including the addition of a projects and technology strategy, which manages the delivery of major products and drives research and innovation to develop new technology solutions. Functionally, Shell shifted focus to research strategy. The core is innovation, and the driving force is collaboration. This includes collaboration with public or private entities, including universities, government, laboratories, and technology startups. This collaborative approach to innovation helps spark new ideas and accelerates development and deployment.
Being in the oil and gas industry, the way an organization creates profit ranges because you have different sectors of the industry within one company, oil, gas, and energy, and each have their own set of customers. We thought it would be more efficient to explain Shell's gas sector's business model because all of us here represent this customer base. This model is called the Fuel Reward Program. The elements of the model include other factors outside of just Shell's promotions, as you can observe on the slide. We make it easy for our customers to do their favorite day-to-day activities and get reward for doing so. It is a simple yet efficient business model because it turns customer saving and reward into profit, creating a win-win situation for both parties. Digitalization is the driving force of these models as Shell's mobile app gives drivers easy access to offers, loyalty cards balance, and access to the nearest Shell station.
So currently, Shell's corporate and business strategies and their focus on the future of energy has put them in a really strong position. But the question is, how long are they going to stick to oil and gas before fully transition into completely natural and clean energy solutions? They're going to have to keep track of the world's external forces and societal changes and keep adapting. Similarly, they must ask themselves if this pandemic will speed up the transition to new energy now that the oil market is crashing. With climate change and new energies, more technology will be the key to all these changes and the driving force of this movement. Shell recognizes this and has created a venture capital arm, Shell Technology Ventures, whose sole focus is to research and invest in innovative technology companies and startups who will assist them in securing new sources of clean, sustainable energy. Thank you.
Hi everyone, now we are talking about Shell's strategy directions. Consider the current market environment. Shell has decided to reduce its operating costs by up to $4 billion and cut its capital expenditures by $5 billion. Like most businesses in the world right now, Shell's main priority is to keep the company financially stable and positioning themselves for the eventual economic recovery. Shell's most important investment right now is its people and placing all focus on safe and reliable operation. Right now, Shell cannot invest and grow, but it has come up with a strategy to allow them to do so once things return to normal. According to the company, it's embarking on a series of operational and financial initiatives that are expected to contribute $8 to $9 billion of free cash flows on pre-tax base, and remaining committed to its de-invest program of more than $10 billion of assets, but timing depends on the market condition. In summary, Shell should not invest in more technology right now due to the Black Swan event and focus on seeking financial resilience in order to thrive in the future.
Overall, the oil and gas industry has taken a tremendous hit, but there are many ways to fighting back. The key for the survival of any business during a black swan event is to find a way to be resilient, and this requires creativity in the way you do business and adaptation to the market environment. Basically, asking yourself the question, what can I do to keep my business running? Shell has two main strengths, a strong liquidity of $20 billion in cash and equivalents, and an oversupply of resources and products. With that being said, Shell has a lot of opportunities to get creative and keep the business running through other methods. For example, Shell has formed a new relationship and venture with Global Center for Medical Innovation to work on the redesign and manufacture of a reusable protective mask. Additionally, in Brazil, one of its joint ventures is using the oversupply of ethanol, intended for fuel, to create a disinfectant using their plants and technology. This will help to keep the company afloat and provide opportunities to prosper in these times and explore new ventures.
So, as for weaknesses and environmental threats, the biggest weakness for Shell right now is that the pandemic is speeding up the downward spiral of the oil and gas industry. This means that the efforts for new energy are going to pick up pace, and as mentioned before, Shell needs to find ways to stay afloat during these times, but normalcy will return, and Shell must shift focus to new sources of energy. They have already made the investments of sustainable transportation systems, smart cities, and green fuels. Their new energies business will help them overcome the oil market crash. For example, Shell bought a German technology firm, Sonnen, that provides home batteries that store solar power and create virtual power plants for neighborhoods. Additionally to this, a big environmental threat is obviously climate change. It has become a growing concern and one that oil and gas companies have been ignoring. But times are changing, and with that, businesses as well. As a result, the company is growing its portfolio of natural gas, which has a lower carbon footprint than oil, and also plans to expand further into the electricity market and invest in more renewables as the transition continues.
Shell is taking the new energy transition seriously, as it currently spends $1 to $2 billion per year on new energy solutions. There are many critics who claim Shell is not spending enough, given they have a $25 billion total investment program, but one must put the numbers into perspective. If I build an oil platform for $10 billion, it will cost me $10 billion. On the other hand, if I build a wind farm that costs $10 billion, it's typically 75% financed by banks, and typically partners invest half and half with us. So my $1 billion goes a long way into a $10 billion wind farm. The benefit is it is cheaper to produce results, so it brings down costs and increases profits. The cost of scaling up new energy solutions is that the existing power system isn't equipped to accommodate new technologies and services. Regulators, investors, and technology providers will need to enable a market design transition before clean energy can become truly mainstream. For Shell in particular, the challenge going forward is to allow for enough experimentation while also starting to standardize solutions. Due to the current Black Swan event, the collapse of the oil and gas industry is speeding up, along with the transition to new energy solutions. As a result, Shell must evaluate their business models and shift focus to new energy so they can strongly position themselves for the future. Our team of executives have come together to provide Shell with strategic recommendations that will allow them to thrive in the new market environment. We surely hope to see them succeed. Thank you.